Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audiblepodcast.com/Sorgatron Media. Over 75,000 titles to choose from for your iPod, iPhone, or MP3 player.
I'm getting awesome, you're getting awesome, we're getting awesome, yeah, that's what I said now. I'm getting awesome, you're getting awesome, we're getting awesome, yeah, that's what I said.
Hey guys, it's AwesomeCast. It's June 21st. It's the summer solstice.
April.
It's the longest day
If you
of
check in
summer.
on Foursquare, you get a bonus.
You do.
I haven't used Foursquare
It's
in
the
2
longest
weeks.
day in summer, and we're here in a basement.
Yes.
We're all inside, working on our nerd tans.
Well, you know, the sun is harmful. I'm not lying. It causes cancer.
There's Chachi on the couch. How you doing this week, sir?
I'm doing well, considering. But I mean, yeah.
And also with us as usual, Rob Delacreta.
Howdy.
Delacreta.
Where are you hailing from tonight?
I am, first I'm gonna call out some hardware manufacturers because I hate you. Imagine, maker of the Z800, 3D head-mounted display goggle thingy.
What?
Wow.
I hate you a lot. They're like, it's two OLED displays. Each one is 800 by 600, so it's like super dense and pretty cool and high quality. But the hardware is awful, and that is the reason that I'm still at work at
They're
10 past 7.
That company is like Rob's Sony.
Yes, for the moment they are. The goggles are $1,800 a piece.
They're actual goggles?
Well, they're like, it's a head-mounted thing, so there's like a Velcro strap and like earphones that are part of it.
Oh, nice.
Like 3D things, but like 3D as of like 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh.
But they still make them, and they're still pretty popular, and they're still $1,800 a piece. So that's why I'm still here. So I am above the Bat Cave. I am at the Cotton Factory, and as Mike said, I'm rocking the Pixel Workers, and we actually have a whole table of a few hundred brand new, unreleased Pixel Worker T-shirts behind me because we do that too.
Nice.
Yeah.
And also join us for the first time, Captain Awesome, Brian Snyder. How you doing?
I am well. Actually, it's the second time. Not as a guest, though.
Well, you made a cameo.
That is true. I'm much more sober this time.
Well, yes. Well,
I'm much sober more this time.
we sure about that?
I'm not.
Hey, of course, he's Dab of Tech with a K on Twitter if you want to follow him. I fill everybody in so we know where you're coming from. What do you do other than being Captain Awesome?
I currently work in IT. I'm the guy that nobody ever sees, and just really make sure everything is working. If you see me, typically something has gone wrong. That means your email is down, or some other mission-critical item that you feel is mission-critical is actually down. So I take care of all the infrastructure. Typically, that's the easiest way to describe it. All the stuff that nobody wants to pay attention to. That's my job.
Excellent. And of course, you've come across the AwesomeCast. We record this live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. at live.sorgatronmedia.com. You can find us at awesomecast.com, Twitter at awesomecast. You can email us at contact@awesomecast.com or phone us at 724-25-8cast. It's 252-2278. And check us out on iTunes, on Roku, on Blip TV. Actually, Brian, you watch us on Roku all the time, don't you?
Absolutely. I'm a huge Roku connoisseur.
Mm-hmm. He lets me know when we're down on Roku, which I can't do anything about apparently. But thank you for actually the Roku numbers. I didn't tell you this yet. Actually, we get really good numbers off of Roku. Like, I want to say maybe a third of our views on the video are off of Roku, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, everybody else is accidentally watching us on YouTube instead of South Park.
Because you just type in AW, and it comes right up.
What were you saying, Rob?
Everybody else who watches us is watching us accidentally instead of South Park, is what I found out today.
Yes.
Yeah. That was an interesting little bit of Google juice that happened there. But hey, it really, at least some people were checking us out. Then they realize we're not South Park and they move on.
So,
anyways, we got email.
Do you want to do the email now?
From often show contributor AJ.
Do you want to do that now?
Who may be employed by somebody online right now.
Do you want to do that now?
Wait, when else are we going to do it?
I don't know. I'm just asking if you...
Do you want to read it?
No.
You want to be the voice of AJ?
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay.
Apparently Facebook is working on a hush.
You don't sound like AJ at all. This is terrible.
Well,
you're fired.
Who sounds like AJ?
Wow.
How do we even do an AJ impression?
I don't want to.
Then you're fired. Apparently Facebook is working on a hush-hush project to build an all HTML5 website and get out of the iOS app game. I applaud them on this. They legitimately have the ability to do this. Of all the developers in the iOS App Store, Facebook has the resources to pull this off. I could see them doing this and then inviting users to add a shortcut on their home screen that would use the Facebook favicon as the icon. Could they build an iOS optimized site? Sure, they already have one. If they want to replicate and improve their current app's functionality in a website, that's decidedly more difficult. Currently, as of a Google search, there is no way to upload photos or videos through mobile Safari. Seeing this photo/video are Facebook's bread and butter, this could be a huge hurdle to them. AJ.
And he sent this last Thursday when this was more of a, hey, look, there's this weird codename project. There's been a little bit more. I've been hearing more rumblings of there actually being an iPad app in the works for Facebook.
Yeah. The funny thing about this is that, well, there's two funny things. First off, when iOS was first announced, it was iPhone or whatever they didn't even call it anything. Everybody came up with their own name. But anyway, there were no apps. There was no app store. You weren't supposed to have apps. Everything was supposed to be built in the way that Facebook could be purportedly building this new thing. So it's kind of like, and also Facebook has never made a good iOS app. Like, yes, they have the resources to pull this off. Why didn't they pull off having a decent app that didn't stink like really bad? The Facebook app is one of the worst iOS apps.
If it's not Farmville related, Facebook is lazy.
Well, they don't do Farmville.
I know.
So,
I mean, their mobile site is pretty good, but they never put any resources at all into their iOS app. All their updates are always like the very last. Mm-hmm. And the app itself crashes, and it's just kludgy, and it's hard to use, and I don't know a single person who has said, you know what, I really love the Facebook iOS app because it's just the best thing ever.
Well, I think everybody's kind of just finding a way to get to Facebook from here.
Yeah.
Because they don't need to be awesome at it because everybody's already on it and just want to be on it on this device too. Right. So, and also, this is a company that iterates code like nonstop. How many times have you gone in there and settings are changed utterly, and I can't figure out.
Which is why I want to know why they update the iOS app once every 6 months.
Yeah.
For how iterative they are about their code, I should have a new update in the App Store every day.
But I think it's because it's a different ecosystem because of the App Store process. Because the way I was reading some of the stories around AJ's email, it seemed like this is their response to how the App Store is, how the ecosystem is. They create their own ecosystem outside of that.
The way they've been behaving, I mean, like, they're probably looking at numbers that say that people would rather use their mobile website than their app, but it's because their app sucks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I hear the one for Android's even worse. At least when it first came out. I don't know if it's been improved since. But either way. He also had something else added here. This is today. I know, Chachi, you responded to it. Random thought for the AwesomeCast. What if Apple TV supported games with the iPhone, iPad as a controller?
And
I thought that was already a thing.
Well, it is. But, and this was brought up in the discussion, the key to making that a viable gaming system is the latency.
Okay.
Currently, the latency is too much of a problem.
Which is something that the Wii U is supposed to solve.
Right. And not only that, but the way that it's currently set up is the Apple TV is showing what's on the screen of the iPad, which is defeating the purpose and not doing what AJ is actually talking about.
Actually, we have that, but also the sample that I linked at, because I know they were showing off some of this at E3.
Right, and this is the only game that they've talked about doing this with. But this shows that somebody's
doing it. And now this is requiring, I believe, an Apple TV being hooked up.
And an iPad.
And there's an iPad, and is the iPad actually tethered to it or doing it wirelessly?
I don't know.
I know for the racing game they're using a tether, like the AV tether.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about this video at the bottom here.
That should take care of latency for the most part. But again, what we're showing here for the audio listeners is the game is playing, the main game in HD is playing on the screen, and the iPad has like, the map of, the map and the stats, and I imagine, it's being used as a steering wheel, as usual with racing games like that.
But
So
it has a long way to come.
it has a possibility.
Right.
When we're
It has
talking-
it has a really strong possibility. I
Right.
would not be surprised at all if for probably not like actual launch of iOS 5, but a little bit after that they start really trying to get into the idea of like mirroring is the first step.
Yes.
And then past that, they work on and they did just upgrade the Airport Extreme. They haven't they haven't pushed out a lot of details on exactly what they did to it besides give it make it more efficient and give it a stronger signal.
Mm-hmm.
But that could be the revision to the Airport Extreme could be one of the first few steps to reducing latency and making the idea of controlling games that you're playing on your Apple TV via your iPhone or iPad a more viable option.
And this is one of those things like Wii U is going to be betting on this sort of concept. So
We all agree that Wii U is a terrible name, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah. But
No one said that Wii was a good name.
yeah, we're
So-
still back on that.
Yeah, any variation of that name is automatically a bad idea.
Especially like lately when I'm like, hey, I've been playing with my Wii again. I've been exercising with my Wii again. It
Listen.
just sounds so bad.
As a Japanese company,
Yeah.
you should make sure that your home country can say the name of your system.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an issue. But either way, this is a concept that they're going to be kind of introducing to the mass market here, mid-late 2012. So Apple has a year lead time on this to make it work and get it out there.
Right.
And when that happens, the developers are going to be there. The developers are going to be there. Now,
It doesn't-
here's the other thing. Can we make it so people want to buy an Apple TV?
Listen.
They're
listen.
super cheap.
Okay.
There's very little reason not to.
Number one, to go back to what you said about the developers.
Mm-hmm.
It's Apple.
Yeah.
So the developers are already there.
Yeah.
Because, like I said at work, if they're there for the apple with the bite taken out of on the back.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're there for.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need.
No, the developers there. Oh, no, that's Rob.
But
The developers
Anyhow.
are there because all the people are already there for the Apple on
yeah,
the back.
yes,
Yeah. So
So the-
they're going to develop where that mass is.
right. The developers, I was stumbling there for a minute, aren't going anywhere. They're already there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But are they on board with this new concept is what I'm saying.
If they're not, then they're dumb.
Hmm.
Hello.
Because
Sorry, it's my turn in Words with Friends.
but yeah, no. If they're not there, then if they're not on board with this, they're dumb.
Especially if they're looking
Because-
at Nintendo's looking out similar. Although this is really opposite of what Nintendo's doing because it's probably being processed on the iPad and pushed out to the TV more. But no, they're running the same chip in the Apple TVs.
Are you done having a conversation with yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's what you're doing there.
Oh, geez.
But anyhow, back to what I was saying. If Apple can pull this off before Nintendo can in 2012, this puts Apple above Sony
Mm-hmm.
as a viable gaming platform.
Yeah.
If Apple does this correctly, and this is going to be the first time I've ever said this, and God, do I hope they do this correctly.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I would be tempted to go out and buy both an iPad and an Apple TV.
Now this is, but what about costs? We're talking about a $500 iPad and a $100 Apple TV
Not necessarily.
versus who knows what Nintendo's going to be.
No.
Or is this one of those things that works because everybody's already got an iPad?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also, you don't have to invest in the whole system at first.
Right.
It's not like you can go out and buy a Wii U controller, play mini games on just the Wii U controller, and then if you feel like making the investment, you can buy the console.
Mm-hmm.
This is something where you can get an iPad, do a heck lot more than just play games on it, and play a lot of really fun games. And if you want to, you can hook it up to your TV. I mean, we're also like the other side of this whole game media, so on and so forth equation is that all the stuff is in your hand now, and the TV is becoming less and less important.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Versus other concepts where they're putting all the stuff in the TV, and the TV
right. I mean,
chips.
It's as cool as the Xbox, and I can't say cool and PS3 in the same sense.
No, you can't.
But you can't. But it's cool. As much fun as you can have on an Xbox, you look at the prevalence of the TV as like your main. The whole idea of going home and hanging out on the couch is still something we do, but following generations are going to do it less and less because of everything that's happening in their hand.
Right. This is just another step towards phasing out the TV.
Yeah.
And like Rob said, because I wasn't finished, but you don't have to buy this all at once.
No.
So, and you don't need a brand new iPad.
No.
So, and it's going to be hard. You'll have to find someone that bought an iPad 2 or something like that. But you can go out and buy a used iPad.
Yeah, they'll be there.
And an Apple TV. And I'm pretty sure the costs are going to be comparable. So, I mean, unless Nintendo is giving away this system for like $200, which isn't going to happen.
No.
It's a viable option if done correctly.
And have we talked about the limitation that Nintendo's doing with the Wii U? Did we talk about that last week? Okay.
Yeah, I think we talked about it.
About how there's only one Wii U controller, I guess we're calling it. I feel like they should be calling it something else.
But you know what? Thinking about it, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same way with the iPad, though.
Okay.
Because, I mean, seriously, do you think they're going to allow you to tether more than one device?
Well,
because that's already a software limitation.
That depends on the game. Because there are games that do like Bluetooth and wireless one-on-one.
Oh yeah, I mean, for instance, like playing Scrabble using iPhones and an iPad.
Yeah. Or fighting games a lot of times will do that. I think you can do that with Infinity Blade. So
I'm so excited at the prospect of accidentally punching somebody in the face because I'm playing a sword game.
But okay, so that problem's already been solved, which means we're waiting on Apple to finish the rest of the puzzle and see what the developers can do.
Yeah, and and the other thing is, I'm not sure quite if this is a huge Apple push or is this the developers getting creative.
If they're smart, it's both.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps saying that Apple is a viable gaming platform. Until this happens, I still don't believe it.
Speaking of developers and gaming, the SDK for Windows for the Kinect came out this last week.
So?
So what do you mean so? I mean, you're a Windows guy.
What's the developer? I don't want to develop anything for the Kinect.
No.
I still think that's a bad idea.
All right, let's talk. All right, what about you, Rob? Because you're not somebody that's afraid to move in this gaming.
It's still kind of tough. It's also a generational thing. If you have a generation of kids that grow up moving with their entertainment, they're going to continue to move with their entertainment.
But this opens it up. This is an SDK, so anybody can develop for a PC. Who knows what kind of concepts we could get out of this other than
the mostly cool thing is what I do for a living is hack hardware and make cool stuff happen with it.
Yeah.
So this SDK is built for guys like me. It's built for the guys that from day one of the Kinect coming out, they've been reverse engineering the thing and making really cool things happen. There's a lot more to the Kinect than just games.
The only good thing I can see coming out of this is like a Minority Report or a Iron Man type computer system.
Wouldn't it be great if you could operate? Well, look at that new Windows interface.
Right. So I mean, if you're just
that is ripe for Kinect interoperability.
Right. I mean, if I can,
sorry, we didn't get your arms
that's
moving.
Fine. But I mean, if I can sit there and just crumble it up and throw it away, and the Kinect recognizes that motion as me throwing something away, then I mean that's kind of cool.
And then also think voices in this,
right?
So I mean, you could start voice commanding your computer. Yeah,
the Kinect is a big step towards Microsoft. Kind of it's not that they're going away from gaming. They're certainly investing a lot in gaming still, but this is something that's part of the gaming, but has potential as so many other things that I'd say that they're investing also in the home interface device category, which is what I see the Kinect as more than a gaming device.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I can think of a number of business initiatives that, this could be used for. I've actually seen a couple of videos of people who kind of hack their Kinects to do business-related things. One of them, for example, was controlling of their infrastructure by moving different virtual machines around and different things like when you're in a conference or something like that. I think this is a good thing. I think this gives it's kind of like all right, go ahead and see what you can do with this. I'm positive that a lot of great ideas will come out of it, and we'll have to see if Microsoft takes them and says that they're their own and repackages them and says, here, now pay us for it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that seems to be.
But
the
I
trend.
mean, like Brian just said, this brings a whole new aspect to having a bank of virtual machines and virtual data. If you can sit there and physically move the stuff, I mean, that changes
I
everything.
just want to be hackers, man.
No, hackers.
Speaking of hackers, we're drawing this one out. It has been.
Which one?
I don't know if you guys knew, but there's a lot of hacking going on.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. There
Which
is a
one
bit.
are you bringing up, Robert?
Well, they're all vaguely related. Is the funny thing.
Oh, okay.
Except for the I've got to scroll here. The Bitcoin hack, I don't think was result. I can't use words.
That's the one. That's the one I wanted to bring up because we were talking about it last week.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So we were talking about Bitcoins on the show last week. Bitcoins, for anybody unfamiliar, is basically the idea of virtual currency, currency that can be completely anonymous. If used through certain channels, basically you purchase X amount of Bitcoins, which are equal to X amount of US dollars or euros or whatever your currency is. And it's money that you hold online. So you have a Bitcoin wallet. Well, those Bitcoin wallets were hacked, last week. Somebody stole $500,000 in Bitcoin.
Ooh, and I understand the, I don't know what amounts to the stock market for these guys, plummeted in the value.
Yeah, that was true. So the whole thing could have been, this is, what we're seeing is, it's the infancy of Bitcoin. So there aren't enough big players involved for it to be super, super secure yet, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not a good time to have Bitcoin.
So not a good time to try to buy those drugs online?
Nope,
No,
not at all.
Not really?
Nope.
No.
Not in fear of getting caught, but in fear of having your Bitcoin stolen.
Right.
Now, and then this is the part that astonished me. Apparently your wallet for these Bitcoins is actually stored in a file on your computer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and not particularly encrypted?
Right. And because there's, it's mostly completely anonymous, there's no infrastructure for tracking down stolen Bitcoins.
Jeez. So this is basically just a very, very young, unsecure, financial system.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got a ways to go before it's going to be a viable thing. So in the meantime, while Bitcoins were being stolen, LulzSec was, they were having some lulls.
We haven't talked about LulzSec on here yet, have we?
We haven't at all.
We've mostly stayed away from hacking stories because, to me, there just seems to be so many of them. It's like, okay, somebody's getting hacked today. Sega got hacked yesterday.
Well, it's usually we ignore them because they're just random people getting hacked. I mean, Sony gets hacked because they turn their servers on.
Yeah.
But what's happened in the last few years, I guess. But most people are familiar with Anonymous. They've heard about them in the news. They're terrible people or whatever. From 4chan. They're a hacking group, quote unquote. I'm making air quotes for anybody on audio. And on the other side of that is, LulzSec. So, Anonymous, born out of 4chan, is mostly what you would call hacktivism. So,
yeah, it's not so much evil as it is informative, I guess. Right?
Yeah, it's like whenever any company that came out against WikiLeaks, against freedom of speech, or in general any issue like that, Anonymous will come after you. Just like for the same reason that Anonymous came after the Church of Scientology after a lot of reports came out about the terrible things that were happening inside of the church. On the other side of the hacking spectrum, you have the lovely folks like LulzSec. It's in their name. Lulz, doing it for the lulz, doing it for kicks, because it's funny. So, this week they hacked a bunch of gaming servers, The quotes from LulzSec are always the best.
Well, the Sega one I heard. We'll help. Wait, did they? I thought they didn't do Sega.
They didn't do Sega. They want to. Sega got hacked by somebody else, and they want to seek vengeance on behalf of Sega.
Because Dreamcast was awesome.
Yes.
Well, it's funny. It's funny that they're all over that news story, because London police have arrested a 19-year-old in connection to the Sony hack, which Sony is reporting cost them $171 million in damages.
So this is the hack?
Yes. A teenager has been arrested in London, and because of the laws over there, they can't release a name. But the police automatically assumed that this hacker was a member of LulzSec, in which they responded.
Okay.
Let me find the quote. It was a tweet, actually.
Yes, they've been really big on the tweets.
Yes, because the news reported that it was the leader of LulzSec that got arrested, and so they sent out a message. It says, "Seems the glorious leader of LulzSec got arrested. It's all over now. ... Wait. ... We're all still here." And then they announced that they hacked into the CIA website, PBS, posting a fake story that Tupac is still alive.
Yeah,
oh wow, yeah, that was it was the New Zealand PBS or something like that. It was something far off. Yeah.
Why would you mess with PBS?
But
yeah,
well, they didn't really do anything to PBS. They were just in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just hanging out.
But
watching old Mr. Rogers.
Oh no, they were angry over a documentary about WikiLeaks, which is why they hacked.
Yeah.
Okay.
LulzSec also took out The Escapist, and then bragged about that it only took 0.4% of their DDoS capacity. And then they took out the login servers for EVE Online. And then they took out a Finnish. Is it Finnish? No, their name is Finn Fisher. It's an IT security company that, quote unquote, apparently they sell monitoring software to the government or some blank like that. That's why they did it. That was their official quote. Login servers for the game League of Legends were knocked offline.
But
yeah.
Also, they said they're sitting on account information for 200,000 players of the online game Brink.
Brink.
Yes, I've never even heard of it. So the fact that there's 200,000 people playing it is amazing.
All I've ever heard of was EVE because of the ads I see.
But
on sites.
Yeah, they said that. But moments later, it said that releasing people's information is worth doing sometimes because it's fun.
Yeah.
And they said, yes, there's always the argument that releasing everything in full is just as evil with accounts being stolen and abused. But welcome to 2011, they wrote. This is the Lulz Lizard era, where we do things just because we find it entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing to take from these stories, is that we've, gone through this interesting sort of continuum of information security where, you had, back in the Kevin Mitnick days, everything was pretty easy to hack, but not a lot of people did it because the ability to pass all that information around was not that easy. But now we've moved forward to a point where it's really easy to do. The technology is advanced enough to do it relatively anonymously, and technology is moving so fast that you can't possibly secure it enough quickly. So everything has become really crackable really quickly, which has given birth to things like LulzSec, because a lot of them are pretty young.
Now, Brian, you work in security fashion. Has there been a lot of talking amongst your company, your compatriots about all the security issues these days?
Absolutely. I think for every story that comes out, one of the nice things is you keep track of them and you use it as fodder so that when I'm standing up in front of executive management, hey, this is why we need to do this. I will admit there are a few nights that you definitely want to keep it's hard to fall asleep knowing that if somebody just happens to pick your domain or your set of customers that you're pretty much done. The good news is that there are a lot of, third-party companies that, really, obviously, trying to make this as easy as possible. But, for the most part, it is very scary. Somebody has multiple web farms, just knowing that, any day, that's really it. Just last week, actually, a local company actually was, unfortunately targeted, and it was a pretty big deal. Nobody knew what was going on, and it really is scary. And until you get everything resolved, it doesn't matter. I'll be honest. It really doesn't matter how large or small you are. It doesn't matter. Companies, I've seen companies get hacked using their own software, that they produce, and Oracle's an example of that. So.
It's been everything. I think Google was hacked from social engineering. I think like maybe about a year ago. I mean, it's all over the place. So, well, somebody else having security trouble. You guys hear about Dropbox yesterday? From what I understand, thankfully I didn't need Dropbox for anything. I have a Dropbox account. I think most of us do.
Well, yeah, I mean...
It's easy. You just put it up there. Everybody uses Dropbox.
Attorneys are using it and installing it without our permission.
That's got to be a hell of a security breach, especially for a law firm like that.
It is! You know how many times I've had to backdoor into machines and block the software because I found it while helping them fix something else?
Yeah. I mean, well, it's nice, for them to share their files, but then all of your probably important, nobody should see these files are somebody else's server.
Right.
So, I mean, do you guys have anything against Google Docs within your company?
We don't use them.
Okay.
Because once again, there's security issues.
Yeah.
But, I mean, these people should be smart enough to know not to, but they don't.
Well, the issue was apparently, there was an authentication error, from what I understand, and, everybody's folders got password protected for, I think they said an hour. And then what somebody was saying earlier that then they got all unauthenticated, even the ones that you did?
Yeah, I believe that was, I want to say it was earlier today. Mm-hmm. But there was a period of time, there was a blog article, I think by the, VP at Dropbox or something to that extent. There's a period of time where, you could authenticate, and no matter what you put in, it would be correct.
Oh, jeez. And that leads credence to your issue with it, Shashi.
Right. Let's see. What else is there?
Meanwhile, it appears like, as people were saying, RIM imploded this week.
RIM.
They let go.
Dirty.
They let go of several thousand. Well, they let go of several thousand of their employees. The co-CEO said that they're just readjusting, I think. And first they have co-CEOs, which is kind of weird. And I think it was the VP, the VP of something, took off for another job, just less than a week before their financial report. So, RIM might be in trouble here, guys, which we've been kind of, seeing it writing on the wall for a while. But.
All right. We talk about Google?
What?
I don't know. Google? They really. No, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What's that, Brian?
I was gonna say, that poor company. I mean, they had such great technology. I'm one of those guys who have to pry my BlackBerry out of my hand. I mean, it just works. As somebody who works, at a company, the control over the device is just incredible. Whether somebody leaves their device in a cab or it gets impounded by the police as evidence, knowing that I can, disable that particular device is just, critical. And it just works. It's unfortunate that they made some horrible decisions on the playbook, as well as not making any progress on the touchscreen phones, because I think that really, did them in.
They never really got any further than doing like the Storm 2, I think.
And it's horrible.
And then what was the other one? The Torch? Was the Torch even touchscreen?
Yes.
Chachi,
Yes.
I know you
Yes,
played with that.
it was.
And then it sounded like their last-ditch effort was this playbook, which there's carriers in, I think, Europe. O2 said they're not carrying it.
Good.
So, I mean, they just completely dropped the ball on all that stuff.
Right. Well, it's past my prediction, but they're imploding.
Yep.
So,
And even I pulled up the headlines for them. Now there's talks of takeovers for them. Who would buy them? Who would buy them at this point?
Google.
Nokia?
Google.
Google knows better.
Why-
Microsoft.
What would Google do with
Yeah,
Yeah.
Microsoft would.
I mean,
Microsoft.
Yeah.
Microsoft, yeah.
If the price is right.
I mean, look at Microsoft's already taken over Nokia's OS
well, in
for their
other
phones.
in other mobile news,
Yes.
Google's Nexus 4G specs, well, some of them leaked today.
Okay.
Google Nexus 4G, unlike the rest, will have a carrier. They've announced that today. Well,
Okay.
I mean, it's been announced that it will have a carrier.
Okay.
They haven't announced which carrier it is. Well, the previous two devices weren't necessarily carrier-based. You had to buy the phone and then take it where you wanted. The only carrier that you could buy it through was T-Mobile.
That's not entirely.
Yes, it was.
The first one came out. You could buy it outright for what, $600 or
They
something.
pushed you to buy it outright
Yeah.
rather than getting you to
But
buy
they
it through
did,
a carrier.
They did offer it, I believe, on T-Mobile, but through Google. You weren't going to T-Mobile to buy it.
Right.
So this is different. That it's going to be actually
It's
at
Yes,
the
it's
carriers.
at the
Okay.
carrier.
I got you.
And it'll be one of the first phones to break the 4-inch diagonal screen barrier.
Why do you want to break that?
I don't know.
Are pockets getting bigger for
Yes.
these phones, by the way?
It'll have a 1.2 or 1.5 gigahertz dual processor,
Okay.
720p screen with a 5 megapixel, 1080p camera on the back, and a 1 megapixel camera on the front. And it'll have a gig of RAM.
Yep.
Jeez.
It's gonna run ice cream sandwich.
And they're also taking off the 4 standard Android buttons.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
and
No.
they're going to be software buttons, right?
Yes.
Like, so they're not going away. They're just not going to be physical.
That's right. What else is there? It's speculated that it'll be AT&T that gets it, but it's all speculation.
Sounds like AT&T's trying to shore up their bets with the iPhone.
Probably.
I guess the iPhone. Although I think it's funny because it used to be you go to an AT&T store and you didn't see any signs for iPhones. I passed one up on McKnight Road and there was like no less than 3 signs for Apple products, including the iPad. It was ridiculous. But I guess it's what they need to get people in the store. So, hey guys, who wants to get an AwesomeCast domain?
You do.
I don't have like 35 grand, so I'm gonna pass on
Is
that.
it 35 grand? Because this
Yeah.
this one says the application fee alone is clocked in at 185 grand.
Oh.
So we might have to work on that a little bit more.
You might need about $250,000 to not only get it but keep it, because I believe there's a $10,000 or $15,000 per year maintenance fee on the domain.
Jeez,
Maintenance fee.
What maintenance fee?
Somebody
That's
has
now
to go
top level
to the spreadsheet
domain.
and
So
tab.
somebody actually now, we pretty much all pay for somebody to manage, .com, .net, all of it. That's done automatically, and we're all subdomains off that. Now, if you're going to be a top level domain like that, then you got to pay people to keep up.
So I start my version of GoDaddy that I sell
Yep.
people at .awesomecast at .sword. That'd be awesome. .chachi.
Sorry, I'm too busy reading our next article. That's not in the notes because this is wonderful.
It could be interesting. I'm curious what's got your interest then.
So, we spent a lot of time covering Duke Nukem Forever last week.
Yeah, way
Okay.
more than we probably should have.
Right. And I didn't want to cover it today. Like, before the show, I told you that we had talked about it enough. There's no need to cover it anymore.
Okay.
However, Duke Nukem's PR representative
Oh, yes.
has decided today
Today.
decided 6 days ago. I'm sorry.
yeah.
So day after we did the show.
Yeah.
That they're going to blacklist people or certain companies from reviewing their future games based on the comments they made about Duke Nukem.
I believe the Twitter read that we were going to seriously reconsider who gets our games in the future after venomous reviews.
Yes.
Using
Using the hashtag #AlwaysBetOnDuke, it said, "Too many went too far with their reviews. We are reviewing using just an R. We are reviewing who gets games next time and who doesn't based on today's Venom."
Yes, and I believe that tweeter has been fired and that company has been dropped by 2K Games.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
And according to the article, blacklists are common but rarely public. And they went on to say that our Duke Nukem Forever review was tough, but I stand by every word of it. And they said they're not pulling any punches when it comes to gaming review.
And this is the Ars Technica review,
Yes.
and which I think is the one we went over last week, where they had the map.
Destroyed it.
They utterly destroyed it.
Yes. But yeah, so yeah, game reviewers. 2K Games may not be sending you stuff anymore.
No, they will be, because this PR firm was fired, and
it's just funny.
as well as the fellow.
Well, even if they don't get any games, if the game is important enough, there's this funny thing. You can go to this thing called a store,
yes,
and you can buy it.
Advanced copies and such like that. You know, people want them in advance so they can get that day of review out there. You know, so and this is something, a lot of the conversation last week since this came out was from reviewers and publications saying, yeah, there is always that kind of thing where you can be blacklisted. I mean, say we're receiving games and we receive the Duke Nukem and we give it a pretty rough review, we may be less likely to do that. Apple was one that is notorious hush wise of not sending people stuff, or if at all, with their PR departments. So
let's see.
Well, in the case of Duke Nukem, isn't that a problem for 15 years from now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. My brother actually, he played it, and he says, like, yeah, it's good. I didn't expect it to be awesome, but it was good, so, that's it.
I don't see it being good at all.
You haven't played it, man.
You're right. This is me rushing out to play it. Look at me go.
Well, anyways.
I'm gonna sprint to the store.
Can I play it on my iPhone?
No.
You can play the first one on your iPhone. It's probably just as bad because the controls are horrible.
Let's see. What else?
Actually, I have it on iPad, too. I got it for free for both.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up, but I found that article and thought we should follow up. What else do we want to talk about?
How about this one? Report 30% of Netflix users think about downgrading or dropping cable.
I think about it every day.
Every day?
Every day.
You know what? I've got a bone to pick with Netflix.
Okay.
What up, y'all?
So I got Netflix. I finally gave in.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, I got Netflix. Did you guys know that Netflix sucks?
What?
It's terrible.
What are you talking
Like,
about?
if you want to actually watch decent television, it's awful.
I'm feeling...
Wait,
I got dead silence here.
What are you? We're not in agreement here.
No, I'm feeling...
I don't know. I'm having
Well,
a pretty
like,
good
if
time.
you want to watch old episodes of The Simpsons, it's fantastic.
Okay.
If you want to watch, like, if you look at most of the TV series that have come out in the last few years, they're all, like, you'd say like 80% of them are really terrible, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, they're all on Netflix.
Okay, but...
The ones I want to watch
are on Hulu.
They're on Hulu.
Right.
They're not on Netflix.
Wait, what kind of what brand of shows are you looking for here?
Okay, but
well, like, you try to watch Dexter. You can watch Dexter the first 3 seasons.
Yeah.
That's like 4 years out of date.
But that's not Netflix's fault.
No.
I know, but still, as far as like content,
So-
You're not going to get them anywhere else, and you can still get the DVDs if you wanted to.
Right.
makes me want to pirate. We'll do it.
Well, you
Well,
also
that's
have to...
You'll pirate that stuff, and I'm discovering Doctor Who and Torchwood and loving every minute of it.
I'm noticing a trend.
Okay.
While it does make me want to downgrade my cable or get rid of it altogether, I'm learning that it takes more effort to supplement what the cable gives me
Okay.
than it is. I mean, so I have to sit there and try to figure out if it's worth the effort or if I'm just going to continue paying them. And at this point, it's just going to be me continuing
And what
to
are your
pay them.
hang-ups? Hockey?
Yeah, mainly sports, which I
okay.
can watch on the internet, but it's a pain.
Yeah, well, not so much if you pay for them, because there are packages from MLB.
They're crazy
from-
expensive though.
Right.
You know what? They're expensive, but
Not really worth it.
look at what you're watching. If you paid for just what you're watching, even if you went to iTunes and just paid for that same stuff that you watch every week on cable, as much as you watch on cable, no more. You know, not barring for time that you're not watching commercials or watching less of them on Hulu or whatnot. I can almost guarantee you're paying less than you are for cable.
Right. But the difference is convenience.
Okay.
Because instead of breaking up my monies and giving them to multiple companies, I give one lump sum to one company who provides me with everything I want to see.
So would you?
But you lose that convenience because it's only on at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what DVR's for.
That's a whole nother step. Now it's complicated.
And then you're paying for DVR.
Not really.
On top of that?
With one button, or with 2 button clicks, I have a recording set.
Okay.
So.
But then don't you have to manage? Do you ever get your DVR full?
No.
No, that doesn't happen in your house?
No, because I watch stuff and delete it.
Okay.
I don't sit on stuff. There's no
He's
reason.
a good watching citizen, Mike.
There's no reason to save the stuff that I've watched.
No.
Because if I want to watch it again, then I'll put in the effort to go watch it
Even
online
with 3
somewhere.
people in that house, you don't get stacked up with stuff?
No,
Interesting.
because we delete it after we watch it. There was one time where we did get stacked up because of the Wonder Years.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they had a marathon, and there goes your DVR?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I love those.
But I mean, other than that, if once something gets watched, it gets deleted. Problem solved.
To me,
I kind of.
Go ahead.
I've got a quandary. So, it's that generational thing again. So Netflix works really well for, like, if you want to watch the Wonder Years, you can watch the
Right.
Wonder Years.
Mm-hmm.
What about the kids, like kids today? Kids today. They can't see what's on TV right now on Netflix.
So that's what Hulu's for.
I don't know. It depends on the channel. Like Phineas and Ferb,
Yeah.
as the season finishes, it's up on Netflix.
Okay.
And same with a bunch of other shows. I'm noticing, like children's shows, like a lot of Disney stuff and a lot of Nickelodeon
So,
stuff.
I mean, really, everybody wants a completist solution.
Right.
And you're not going to, well, I mean, just to the point of, like, you know, you're not paying for all the channels on cable, you're not going to see all the shows available to you. I think it's the same when you look at, I look at Netflix as I look at HBO. Like, the idea that the movies are being cycled in and out, you know, is kind of what I attribute to the kind of HBO, Cinemax, whatever. You know, it's a movie channel. I look at it as a movie channel, you know, and something available to me at least for a time being. You know, I'm never out of something to watch, which is more what I'm interested in.
Right.
You know, and it exposes me to a lot of stuff I never would have watched. Half the stuff you recommend to me, I never would have watched that stuff if I went out on my own.
I know.
Now, Brian, aren't you a cord cutter over there?
I was going to say, yeah. So
Don't worry.
first of
I
all,
was gonna
just-
pitch to him.
What'd you say?
I was gonna pitch it to you because I
I'm
know.
just saying, the guy that's watching us on Roku has to have an opinion.
Yes.
So we have been cable free for almost 7 years now, since we moved into our current house, and we do have cable, but it's
I applaud 'em.
over the air. It's the same channels you get over the air. Not a big sports fan, so that's why my opinion is a little bit different than a lot of other people's. I love it. It's yes, there are things that you miss out on. There was a time in which The Sopranos were very popular and different other, TV shows. And yeah, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't really care either. The day the Roku box came out, I ordered that because, that's when we were able to get the, Netflix online. And, we actually have a Netflix account. So, it was great. It had 2 channels when we got it. It was the Netflix as well as Amazon. And, there are things that we can't see, but at the same time, if there's something new that you want to see, you can pay Amazon for it, and you can pay a couple bucks and I know there's a couple of TV shows, my wife wanted to, she missed it when it came out. We don't have a DVR, so she gave Amazon $2 or $3 and she watched, whatever she wanted to watch. So it definitely is, it is a sacrifice, especially for things like, the Discovery Channel, those sort of things. Those are a little bit more difficult to get, but, my Roku box, I found out there's actually a limit to the number of channels you can actually put on a Roku box at any one time.
Really?
Yeah, it says out of memory. At least mine does, and again, mine's the original.
Yeah,
so.
you have an older model, so that might not be the case anymore. Don't you have Hulu's on that now, right?
Yes, so we also have a Hulu Plus, which actually was very nice to have in the beginning, although it seems that it changes sometimes. So content, like sometimes if you start content, like you start a series, and you get halfway through, it may not be there for whatever reason when you're done.
Yeah.
So we've seen that, but I've also seen some shows that, kind of like Rob was mentioning. I don't know if anybody remembers the Pretender. So I started watching that from the beginning, and like you said, you discover a lot of things that you may not have watched. But it is a sacrifice. And I know a lot of you guys are, big sports fans and, different things. And, we don't miss that. We don't get to see a lot of unless it's on regular television, we don't get to see it.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. You said that your channel space on your Roku box is full. And granted, while your Roku box is one location, how many channels do you have as sources of entertainment, I guess, video entertainment?
What do you mean?
I want to say it's at least 25. And again, not all the channels. I mean, I try out a lot of channels as well. So, for example, there's a Russian TV. You can get news from Russia in English. I actually just started watching that just for something different. And it's a different viewpoint. I think a lot of times those who know me know I'm somewhat unsatisfied with the local media, especially the television media. So, every once in a while I try to find a new source of news. And there's a NASA channel. I like to watch NASA TV sometimes, especially when there's, something going on.
You know what I attribute this to? I back in the day, again, as somebody, I grew up without cable, got the satellite dish in 96. But before that, there were the other satellite options. I mean, somebody came to our house trying to, shop this something that was like, an antenna that we put up that got like cable channels, that they were trying to push for the time. Then there's the giant satellite you get in the backyard. My one uncle had one. Actually, two of my uncles had one, and they got free pay-per-views off of it. That was interesting. But other than that, they never had like all of the regular channels that you would say have on cable where you were in town, right? But there'd be all these alternate channels, like something like a NASA channel or this other stuff. So I kind of attribute this whole idea of something like the Roku box, like where we have these other ideas of places. So, I mean, really, I guess the question comes down to, do you want what everybody else has so you can have the water cooler talk, or do you just want to fill your time with some good content? I mean, I found that I'm watching and listening to more podcast content than I am television right now.
Yeah, I think
that's me. But that's me. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, I think in my case, I watch a lot of web series and, just random, series that, people have made themselves and put online. And then, you start following that content, and again, the Roku device makes everything easier for me. So that's how I discovered that. So, I typically, in the first time, I'm like, hey, have you ever seen, this web series? So even if you don't have a Roku device, you can actually just go to your computer and you can watch the same thing that I'm watching as well. And those are huge. There's entire channels devoted to, web series that, people put production grade, material that, is easier to do nowadays and throw up online. And next thing you know, some guy in Pittsburgh on a Saturday afternoon watches your entire series and is like, oh, I really want season 2. And, you give money to them and hopes, they do Kickstarters and different things and, really hope that, stuff continues on.
Well, I mean, And I'm not saying that that's not an option I would follow, because honestly, there's nothing other than sports.
Yeah.
There's nothing on TV that I rely on.
Okay.
Like,
So
as my entertainment.
You could take or leave anything.
Yes. There's no shows that I feel are absolutely necessary for me to watch.
So for you, if you had, like, if this NHL Game Center, which is available on the Roku, if that covered as many Penguins games as you'd want to watch, at least enough of them to be worth it, you'd be in.
I missed 6 Penguins games this year that I didn't watch. So that's 76 games, not counting the playoffs.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that. Like, I mean, we see UFC, NBA options, AFL, which I know we don't even get that on
but I mean,
TV half the time. But yeah.
Other than that, I mean, it's Netflix.
Yeah.
Because I watch more movies than I watch anything.
Yeah.
And that's what I use my cable for more than anything else, is the on-demand section. It's like a supplement to Netflix, because the stuff that's on there isn't on Netflix. So, I mean...
Yeah, and for me, it's Hulu Plus, it's over-the-air antenna, it's Netflix, YouTube's coming on Xbox. This is all on my Xbox, by the way. You know, and without, you know, other than that, I just watch stuff on my computers, on my iPad, whatever. So, I mean, I've found that iPad becomes my television more than anything. I had sitting down here watching Twit before, you know, while we're setting up today. Because, you know, that TV only has over the air, and, you know, that's it.
Right.
So, well, hey, Rob, thanks for stirring that pot.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's why I'm here.
So let me know. I'd be curious if your experience with Netflix improves for what you're looking for.
Yeah, I also think, cause I just got I've had an iPad 2 for a while, but I just got it back. So I'm curious to see especially if I like give in and buy an Apple TV, cause I'm still doing, Boxy off of a MacBook under my TV. I'm curious to see if the iPad, has an effect on the sort of content I could do, cause also if I can mirror my iPad to my TV, then I can like hop on YouTube and do whatever like super easily without the kludgy trying to control an interface from an interface thing that you have to deal with.
Yeah. And I see from the chat room, Hot Wheels says he uses TV PC TV. I'm not entirely sure if that's a legitimate site. So
another illegitimate site, if you're into sports online, would be ATDHE. .me.
They're never easy. They're never easy, whatever they are.
No, the only one that was easy was channel surfing or surfing the channel, which got taken down.
That's why they're not around.
Which is interesting. There was actually some fallout from that when ICE took down all those streaming sites, because some of them were foreign. So some of them are like, yeah, you have no jurisdiction over us. Why'd you take out our domain?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of kind of blowback from that. Well, hey guys, that was a good conversation. We need to get out of here. Brian, thanks for joining us. You're of course Dab of Tech with a K. If people want to check you, is there anywhere else you blogging or anything anywhere?
Yeah, that's on the to-do list.
Excellent. But thanks for joining us, Rob De La Creta, robjdlc.com.
Yep.
Anything new coming up with you?
Going to St. Louis next month.
Ooh,
that's a thing. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything good in St. Louis or anything.
Don't they have that arch or something?
Don't they have what?
Don't they have the arch there?
Oh yeah, they have an arch.
Yeah, a really big one, shiny.
Good.
I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody who is from St. Louis, but I know nothing about St. Louis. So that's what you get for knowing nothing about Pittsburgh.
Yeah. What up?
And then there's Chachi of ChachiSays.net, where there's updates.
Yes. Yeah, I got 3 weeks of blogs in the thing, ready to go.
You sound excited really excited about that.
They post every day at 9 a.m. And I tried not to tweet more than twice about it, because I feel like I'm getting annoying after that. So... Yeah.
You're not doing it wrong.
No.
And also ChachiSays.net, which might be HD this week. If all
Chachi says the vidcast, yeah. It might be HD.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
A new episode of Unsung.
Yep. And I won't be here next week. I'm out.
He's out.
So,
taking
a week off.
Guys, you can check us out, AwesomeCast.com, if you find out everything going on with us. We record live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern at live.sorgatronmedia.com. Twitter us at AwesomeCast. Or email us at awesomecast.com. Phone us at 724-258-CAST, or that's 252-2278. Please look us up and comment on us on iTunes, MediaFly, Roku, Blip TV, and YouTube. We're on all that stuff. So, and we just... Oh, Rob's about to crash again. So, for Brian, Rob, and Chachi, thank you to our awesome chat room. You've been our awesome audience. Have an awesome. On this thing. Actually, I might have gotten it from Chilla.
So, can you explain this taco yes to me hashtag thing?
Yes. It's the opposite of taco no, which is nothing.
Right, obviously.
I mean, there would never be a taco no.
Are they getting tacos now?
Yes, they are. Actually, right. There's a taco event as we speak.
I kind of want tacos.
There's a taco event? Remember when we used to do Tuesday tacos?
No.
No?
It's Taco Tuesday for Andrea's birthday.
Oh.
The taco extravaganza practice at Chica Loca Taco.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
All right.
I've been reading this hashtag all day.
Yeah, there's a Facebook event.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I kind of want a taco.
Well, obviously, you weren't invited.
No.
They didn't really invite anybody. It was more like a whole bunch of people on Twitter talking about tacos, and then they did it.
I like tacos.
We failed at social media.
No,
No?
We're busy on Tuesdays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're busy. We got things to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not that we fail, it's just we're busy.
Somebody get me an apple galette, please. I've heard it so much, and I really want one.
Did you Bing get rich slowly?
Bing, get rich slowly.
No, look at the laptop.
What's happening?
The laptop with the Ustream or the Justin TV on it. And in the Bing search bar, it says "Get rich slowly."
It is. No, that was a blog that
good.
Justin recommended.
Oh,
Wow, that's good. How do I turn off your face? I don't want to see the.
How do you turn off your face?
It's like really jagged, and I can't actually make anything.
What's that?
You can't make anything out, so I'm like, may as well save the bandwidth.
But you know, if I'm waving my hands,
I just saved like a quarter of one of my cores. So
Let's see.
what happened?
AwesomeCast episode 56. How do I turn off your face?
Oh, by the way, I watched I have watched a few minutes of the episode when we had Mikey on.
yeah.
And fuck him for having a better video feed than me. And I was on Comcast, and he was
On
fucking
AT&T. On his iPhone.
his iPhone. I don't know what the deal is. I can't. Skype hates me perpetually. Oh, that's something we should probably talk about.
What was
That's
this?
not news, is it?
What? No, there's a couple
Microsoft
things.
acquiring Skype
What?
for like $8 billion. Yeah, the deal went through.
Yeah,
Oh, it finally went through was the thing. Okay.
it was approved.
Just throw that in there as something
Didn't
to make
they,
fun of.
fire everybody?
They
Probably.
fired their executives so they didn't have to pay them.
Yep.
You know what?
Oh,
Skype
oh,
fucking
oh.
sucks.
Oh,
so
here's another one. Real Rim meltdown this week.
Man,
Does
my
anybody-
rim is down every week.
And Dropbox, the thing yesterday, they made every folder password protected for like an hour.
Oh. How is that a bad thing?
It's kind of weird.
That you don't have the password.
Oh.
So then they did the opposite and unlocked everybody.
Oh no! All right, we'll get into that.
Not my child porn.
I think we're good.
Wow. Rod, you're fired.
And there we go. That's the
Things
stuff
you
we
can't say on public access
stuff we
television.
can't say on public access. All right, let's go on in 5, 4,
Jingle.
3.
Barry.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Awesome Cast. This week, it's April. No, what?
Wow.
The
Wow.
hell? Well,
April?
All right, we're restarting.
April?
We're restarting.
Try that
It's
again.
April.
Episode
April?
49.
Wow.